KHAB 17, HSE Global Safety Leader Professional Training Academy. Module 8, HSE Leadership, Site Coordination and Career Preparation. Section 4, Emergency Leadership and Crisis Response. Learning Objective. By the end of this section, learners should be able to support emergency response activities, understand emergency command structures, coordinate evacuations, manage accountability systems, communicate effectively under pressure, and assist leadership teams during incidents in accordance with ISO 45001:2018 Clause 8.2 Emergency Preparedness and Response, NEBOSH IG1, and IOSH Managing Safely Principles. Emergency Leadership and Crisis Response. Emergencies are unique events. Unlike routine work activities, emergencies develop rapidly, create uncertainty, and often place workers under extreme pressure. The true strength of a safety management system is not measured during normal operations. It is measured when something goes wrong. Many organizations invest heavily in procedures, training, and equipment. However, when emergencies occur, people do not automatically become effective leaders. They rely on preparation. They rely on drills. They rely on communication. And they rely on established command structures. This is why emergency preparedness is one of the core requirements of ISO 45001:2018 Clause 8.2. Organizations must not only prepare emergency procedures, they must test them, train personnel, review performance, and continuously improve emergency response capabilities. Today, we will examine how HSE professionals support emergency leadership and crisis response activities. Remember this for your interview. Many HSE assistants and junior safety officers are expected to support emergency drills, coordinate muster points, conduct headcounts, and communicate critical information. Understanding emergency coordination makes you significantly more employable. Emergency chain of command. One of the priorities during any emergency is establishing command and control. Without leadership, confusion develops quickly. Without structure, resources become ineffective. Without accountability, people may take actions that increase risk. For this reason, emergency response organizations establish a chain of command. A chain of command defines who is responsible for what actions during an incident. Every worker should understand the structure before an emergency occurs. Incident commander. At the top of the structure is the incident commander. The incident commander is responsible for overall decision-making, resource allocation, emergency strategy, coordination with management, coordination with external agencies, approval of major response actions. The incident commander does not perform every task personally. Instead, the incident commander directs and coordinates the response. Muster warden. A muster warden is responsible for directing personnel to assembly points, conducting headcounts, verifying accountability, reporting missing persons, monitoring assembly point discipline. Muster wardens play a critical role because accurate accountability information supports emergency decision-making. Communication officer. The communication officer manages information flow. Responsibilities include emergency announcements, communication with emergency services, internal notifications, maintaining communication logs, coordinating official information releases. Accurate information reduces confusion and panic. Emergency response teams. Depending on site requirements, emergency response teams may include fire teams, rescue teams, first aid teams, spill response teams, security personnel. Each group has defined responsibilities. Real site example. During a tank farm fire drill, the incident commander coordinated emergency response while muster wardens accounted for workers and communication officers maintained contact with emergency services. Because responsibilities were clearly assigned, the exercise remained organized and effective. Common mistake. Assuming everyone knows what to do during emergencies. Roles must be defined, trained, and practiced before incidents occur. Evacuation control. Evacuation is one of the most common emergency response actions. However, evacuation involves more than simply leaving a work area. Professional evacuations require coordination. The objective is moving people from danger to safety efficiently and safely. Phase evacuation. Some facilities use phase evacuation procedures. Instead of evacuating everyone simultaneously, specific areas evacuate first based on risk. Benefits include reduced congestion, improved accountability, better emergency access, more effective resource deployment. Phase evacuation is common within large industrial facilities. Route selection. Evacuation routes should avoid fire zones, chemical release areas, structural hazards, traffic routes, electrical hazards. Routes must remain clearly marked and maintained. Emergency routes should never be obstructed. Persons requiring assistance. Emergency planning must consider workers requiring assistance. Examples include injured personnel, temporary mobility restrictions, visitors unfamiliar with the site, persons with disabilities. Emergency arrangements should identify who will assist these individuals during evacuation. Real site example. During an evacuation drill at a petrochemical facility, designated assistance supported a worker using crutches. Because planning had occurred beforehand, evacuation remained orderly and efficient. Common mistake: focusing only on average workers while overlooking special assistance requirements. Emergency planning must consider everyone. Roll call accountability. After evacuation, accountability becomes a next priority. Emergency leaders must determine who is safe, who is missing, who may still be exposed to danger. Without accountability, emergency decisions become difficult. T-card systems. Many organizations use T-card accountability systems. Workers place identification cards into designated boards upon arrival at assembly points. This allows rapid verification of personnel. Other organizations use electronic systems, attendance registers, biometric accountability, digital emergency management software. The system is less important than accuracy. Muster point supervision. Assembly points require supervision. Workers should remain present, avoid unnecessary movement, await instructions, report relevant information. Muster wardens should verify head counts carefully. Rushed accountability creates errors. Missing person protocol. If someone cannot be accounted for, verify attendance records, check work locations, confirm authorization lists, communicate findings to emergency leadership. No assumptions should be made. Emergency responders require accurate information. Real site example. During a refinery emergency drill, one worker was initially reported missing. Further review revealed the worker had signed out earlier in the day. Accurate record prevented unnecessary search operations. Common mistake: assuming missing persons remain on site without verification. Always confirm information before escalation. Media management and rumor control. Modern emergencies generate information rapidly. Unfortunately, they also generate misinformation. Rumors can spread faster than facts. This creates additional challenges during incident management. Designated spokespersons. Professional organizations designate authorized spokespersons. Only approved personnel should communicate with media representatives, government agencies, external stakeholders, community representatives. This ensures information remains accurate and consistent. Fact versus speculation. During emergencies, many people attempt to explain what happened before investigations occur. This is dangerous. Professional HSE personnel should communicate only verified information. Facts support decisions. Speculation creates confusion. Internal communication. Workers also require accurate information. Clear updates help reduce anxiety. Examples include current situation, protective actions, work restrictions, emergency status updates, expected next steps. Real site example. Following a process upset at a chemical facility, management provided regular factual updates to workers. Because communication remained transparent, rumors were minimized. Common mistake: sharing unverified information. Always verify before communicating. Incident escalation. Not every incident requires the same response level. Organizations establish escalation criteria. Escalation determines when additional resources and notifications become necessary. Escalation triggers. Examples include fatalities, major injuries, significant fires, chemical releases, environmental contamination, structural failures, security threats, business continuity impacts. Once escalation criteria are met, additional response actions begin. Regulatory notifications. Depending on jurisdiction, organizations may be required to notify regulators within specific timeframes. Examples include fatal incidents, dangerous occurrences, major environmental releases, serious occupational illnesses. Notification requirements vary by country. HSE personnel should understand applicable legal obligations. Real site example. A crane collapse triggered immediate escalation due to potential injuries and operational impact. Emergency services, management, and regulatory authorities were notified according to company procedures. Common mistake: delaying escalation while attempting to gather complete information. Early notification often allows faster support. Communication under pressure, SPA technique. Emergencies create stress. Stress affects communication. People may speak too quickly, forget information, misunderstand instructions, or become emotionally overwhelmed. This is why structured communication methods are valuable. One widely used technique is SBAR. SBAR stands for Situation, Background, Assessment, Recommendation. Situation: what is happening right now? Example: there is a chemical spill in the loading area. Background: what relevant information should responders know? Example: the spill occurred during transfer operations. Assessment: what is your assessment of the situation? Example: approximately 200 liters released. No injuries reported. Recommendation: what action do you recommend? Example: spill response team required immediately. Real site example. Emergency coordinators frequently use structured communication to ensure critical information remains clear during stressful situations. Common mistake: providing excessive information while omitting critical facts. SBAR helps prioritize information. Practical activity: leading a mock evacuation drill. Emergency announcement: attention all personnel. Attention all personnel. This is an emergency drill. Stop work immediately. Secure equipment if safe to do so. Proceed calmly to your designated assembly point. Do not run. Do not use unauthorized routes. Follow instructions from supervisors and emergency wardens. Crowd control commands. Muster warden. Please remain together. Move behind the accountability line. Ensure your supervisor can see you. Remain available for head count. Do not leave the assembly area. Roll call process. Supervisor. Team Alpha. Workers respond individually. Present. Supervisor verifies attendance. Missing personnel immediately reported to muster warden. Muster warden reports accountability status to incident commander. Debrief questions. How long did evacuation take? Were routes clearly understood? Were alarms recognized? Was accountability accurate? Were communication channels effective? What improvements can be implemented? Quick quiz. Question 1. Why are emergency drills important? Answer: they test emergency procedures, identify weaknesses, and improve preparedness. Explanation: organizations cannot assume emergency plans will work unless they are practiced and evaluated. Question 2. What factors commonly contribute to panic during emergencies? Answer: confusion, poor communication, uncertainty, and lack of training. Explanation: clear leadership and structured communication reduce panic significantly. Question 3. What does SBAR stand for? Answer: situation, background, assessment, recommendation. Explanation: SBAR provides a structured communication framework for sharing critical information quickly and accurately. Deliver this section with energy and realism. Encourage learners to visualize actual emergency situations. Use examples from fires, chemical releases, confined space incidents, and evacuation drills. Emphasize repeatedly that emergency performance depends on preparation completed before the incident occurs. A calm, prepared workforce responds more effectively than an untrained workforce. End of section 4.